Hi friend, welcome all to my educational channel Math A to Z. In this class, we discuss three important subgroups of any group. Now, what are the three important subgroups of any group? Without more introduction, we directly start with the first one. Consider a group G circle, and we first construct a subset capital H defined as X belongs to G such that X composition G equal to G composition X for all G belongs to G. That is, H contains that element of G which are commute with every element of G. Now, if we take any two elements A and B in H, also in G, then we can write A composition G is equal to G composition A, also B composition G is equal to G composition B for all G belongs to G. From the second relation, we can write B inverse composition B composition G composition B inverse. We operate B inverse from both sides, left and right, and the right side is B inverse composition G composition B composition B inverse. This gives the result this is E, so G composition B inverse is equal to B inverse composition G. Now we see that if B belongs to H, then B inverse also commute with for all G. Then B inverse is also belongs to H. Now we start with the relation A composition B inverse composition G. And this is A composition B inverse composition G. This is A composition G composition B inverse because of this, and this gives A composition G composition B inverse, and this is equal to G composition A composition B inverse. Now A composition B inverse composition G is equal to G composition A composition B inverse. So we can write, or we can say, A composition B inverse commutes with every element of G. That is, A composition B inverse belongs to capital H. So we say that H is also a subgroup of G circle. Okay, H is a subgroup of G circle. And this subgroup, that is H, is called the center of the group. Center of the group. So our first subgroup is center of the group. Center of G. Center of G. And this subgroup is denoted by Z of G. This is the standard notation of the center of the group. And so we replace here H by Z of G. And all the element of this subgroup, that is all the element of the center of the group, are called central element. Central element of G, right? And it is clear that if G is commutative, then every element of G commutes with each other. So for all x belongs to G, imply x belongs to Z of G. That is, in this case, G is a subset of Z of G. And obviously, Z of G is a subset of G, because Z of G is a subset or subgroup of G. So we can write Z of G is equal to G if G is commutative. Otherwise, this is not so. Now here we consider an important example to find the center of a group. We consider here a group S3 dot, that is the permutation of 3 symbol, and we know that this group contains E12, 13, 23, 123, 132, and we try to find Z of S3. We know that 12 into 13 is equal to 132, but 13 into 12 is equal to 123. So 12 and 13 are not commute. So 12 and 13 does not belong to Z of S3. So this and this element are not belongs to S3. Now 23 into 132, this is equal to 13. Sorry, this is 12. And if we calculate 132 into 23, then we get 13. So it is clear that 23 and 132, these are also not commute. So this element and this element are also deleted from this set. And if we take 1, 2 and 1, 2, 3, then we get this is 2, 3. But if we take 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, then we get this is 1, 3. So also 1, 2, 3 be deleted from this set. So here Z of S3 is a subgroup, that is the trivial subgroup, because we know that identity element is always commute with every other element, right? Similarly, if we consider GL2R, that is general linear group of 2 cross 2 matrix of real number, then it is seen that Z of GL2R is this type of element A0, 0, A, such that A belongs to capital R, and Obviously A not equal to 0, because if A equal to 0, then determinant is equal to 0. So the singular matrix. So this matrix does not belongs to GL2R. Okay. So we say that the center of GL2R is the set of all scalar matrix. Right. So these are the definition of the center of the group, and we prove here the center of the group is also the subset of the group, and all the element of the center of the group are called central element. And if the group is commutative, then center of the group consists all the element of G, that is Z of G equal to G. And we see here two important examples to find the center of the group. Now we go to another one. Second, here also consider a subset H, and this subset is X belongs to G such that X composition A is equal to A composition X. Okay, that is H be a subset of G containing those elements of G that commute with a particular element A of G. Okay, and clearly we see this group is also a subgroup by similar as Z of G. Same proof here. And this is also a subgroup of G, and this group or this subgroup is called centralizer. Centralizer of A, because these elements are commute with A, or it is also called normalizer. Normalizer of A, centralizer of A or normalizer of A. And all the element of this subgroup is called central element. Sorry, this is not central element. For this subgroup, these are the central element. Sorry, this is not central element. Now from the definition, okay, or this set is denoted by C of A, or sometimes it is denoted by N of A, because of normalizer of A or because of centralizer of A. Clearly from the definition of centralizer and center of the group, it is obvious that Z of G is a subset of C of A, because here in the Z of G, those elements consist, or those elements belongs to Z of G which are commute with every element of G. But in this subset, the element belongs to C of A which are commute only with any element, any particular element A. So obviously C of A contains more point than Z of G, right? And these are also the subset of G, and we know that this is a subgroup of this. Also, this is also a subgroup of G. So from this relation, we say that Z of G is a subgroup of C of A. It is important to see here, if there exists any A belongs to G for which C of A is equal to Z of G, then must be G compose is abelian. Okay, because A belongs to C of A, this is equal to Z of G, and this implies A belongs to Z of G. That is, A commute with every element of G, right, from this relation. Now if A commute with every element of G, then obviously every element of G consists in C of A, because C of A consists those elements of G which are commute with A. So we can write C of A is equal to G, and from the given relation this is also equal to Z of G. Now we get G equal to Z of G, and we say before at the first time, if Z of G equal to G, this relation hold, then must be G is commutative. So we prove the result that if for any A belongs to G, if C of A equal to Z of G, then must be G is commutative. Now we go to the last subgroup, which is taken as, or we consider this subset as third subset. Here the subset is H is equal to A to the power n such that n belongs to Z and A belongs to G. We take any element of G and we forms a subset A to the power n, n belongs to Z, because we know that for all A belongs to G, any integral power of A, that is A to the power n, must be belongs to G, and we take this type of element in this subset. Clearly, if we take two elements, any two elements, A to the power R and A to the power S belongs to H, then A to the power minus S is also belongs to H, because if S be an integer, then minus S is also be an integer. So A to the power minus S is also belongs to H. Now A to the power R compose A to the power S whole inverse is equal to A to the power R compose A to the power minus S, that is A to the power R minus S. And since R belongs to Z and S belongs to Z, so R minus S obviously belongs to Z. So we say that A to the power R minus S is also belongs to H. And this element is taken as A, this element is taken as B. So A composition B inverse belongs to H if AB belongs to H. So we say that H be a subgroup of G, and this subgroup is known as cyclic subgroup of G, and this subgroup is denoted by cyclic subgroup generated by A. This is the symbol of cyclic subgroup generated by A. And for every element of G, we can form this type of subgroup for every element of G. Maybe all this type of subgroup not be distinct. Okay, some are distinct and some are coincident or coincide with each other. Now clearly this type of subgroup or cyclic subgroup generated by A is the least or the smallest subgroup containing A. This is the smallest subgroup. Smallest subgroup containing A. Because if we take a subgroup K of G containing A, then all the integral power of A, that is a to the power n, must be belongs to K, because this is taken as a subgroup. So the property of group is also hold here. Now we see that for all a to the power n belongs to cyclic subgroup generated by A, it is implied that a to the power n must be belongs to K, where K be any subgroup containing A. And we can write this. So from this relation we say that cyclic subgroup generated by A is the smallest subgroup containing A. And it is easy to see that this subgroup is obviously commutative, because for all a to the power r, a to the power s belongs to this, then a to the power r composed a to the power s, this is a to the power r plus s, this is a to the power s plus r, and this is a to the power s composed a to the power r. So this is commutative, right? So this subgroup is always commutative. And if we take the operation as the addition, then this type of subgroup can be defined as NA, such that N belongs to Z and A belongs to G. Now, an important example of this type of cyclic subgroup, if we consider Z plus as a group, then if we take the element 2, then cyclic subgroup generated by 2 is 2n, such that n belongs to Z, and this is obviously 2Z. Similarly, if we generate the integer m, then we get the subgroup as mz, and we say that these are all the subgroup of Z plus. And if we generate the element 1 or minus 1, then we get the Z plus itself. Okay, so here we take an element such that this element also generate the group, and this type of element in the group has the special interest. And if there exists this type of element which generate the whole the group, this type of element is called the generator of the group, and the group is then called itself a cyclic group. And we discuss about the cyclic group in the next class. And we take here another example, as if we take the group Killingsworth group E, A, B, C, then generating E, we get this subgroup. This is the trivial subgroup. Generating A, we get A and E because A square equal to E. Generating B, we get E and B. Generating C, we get E and C. So all the four elements generate different subgroup, and here is no element of V such that which generate the group itself. But if we consider this group, S is equal to 1 minus 1 I minus I, that is the fourth root of unity. Then if we generate 1, then this gives 1 only. If we generate minus 1, this gives 1 and minus 1. If we generate I and if we generate minus I, clearly this gives S itself. So we get here two generator, I and minus I. So it is cyclic group. Okay, and I and minus I are the generator. And we discuss the cyclic group in the next class. Okay, these are three important subgroup of any group. One is the center of the group, second is the centralizer of any element or normalizer of any element, and third is the cyclic subgroup of the group generated by any element of the group. This is the today's class. Thank you.